Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question right at the start. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success like a magnet while others chase it their whole lives and never catch it? It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they were born in the right family. And it's not even because they had more opportunities. No, the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Success does not visit you once in a lifetime. Success lives in what you do daily. Success lives in your habits. Have you ever noticed how people love to talk about the big moments in life? The breakthrough, the promotion, the winning shot, the life-changing opportunity. Everyone celebrates the mountaintop, but very few people are willing to pay attention to the climb that made it possible. The truth is, success doesn't happen in the big, glamorous moments. It happens in the small, hidden choices you make every single day. Small choices create big changes. And if you don't believe that, just look at the results of your life right now. Everything you have or don't have is the byproduct of decisions you made, not once in a while, but daily over time. Think about it like this. If you eat a donut today, nothing drastic will happen. You won't suddenly be overweight. But if you eat a donut every single day for a year, your body will show the evidence of that habit. On the flip side, if you choose to walk for 20 minutes a day, you won't look like an Olympic athlete tomorrow. But give it a year, give it two, and you'll notice transformation. Why? Because small choices don't stay small. They compound, they multiply, and eventually they become the reality you live in. That's why I say, your future is hiding in your daily routine. Here's the hook. Most people are looking for a miracle, but they ignore the mundane. They want a breakthrough, but they despise the process. They think if they just get one big opportunity, their whole life will change. But let me tell you something, opportunity doesn't change you, it only exposes you. If you haven't built the habits that prepare you for success, when opportunity knocks, you won't be ready to answer the door. The foundation is in the small decisions nobody sees. What you practice in private eventually shows up in public. Let's go even deeper. Every time you make a choice, you're not just deciding what to do, you're deciding who to become. When you choose to wake up early and work on your goals, you're not just saving time, you're shaping an identity. When you choose to read instead of scrolling endlessly on social media, you're not just learning facts, you're becoming the kind of person who values growth. When you choose to invest instead of spend recklessly, you're not just saving money, you're developing into a steward of wealth. Small choices are like votes you cast for the person you're becoming. Each decision is shaping your destiny, whether you realize it or not. Now, here's where it gets powerful. Small choices are easy to do, but they're just as easy not to do. That's why so many people miss it. It's easy to take a 5-minute walk, and it's easy not to. It's easy to drink water instead of soda, and it's easy not to. It's easy to open a book for 10 minutes, and it's easy not to. The difference between success and failure is not that one is harder than the other. It's that one requires consistent intention while the other drifts on autopilot. You can drift your way into failure, but you will never drift your way into success. Success must be chosen daily. So let me ask you, what are the small choices you're making today? Are they leading you closer to the person you want to become or further away? You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day. You don't need a massive overnight change. You need small, intentional steps repeated over and over. That's how marriages are built. That's how businesses grow. That's how wealth is created. That's how legacies are formed. Not by giant leaps, but by faithful steps in the right direction. The most exciting part is this: The same power that built your past is available to build your future. If your small choices created a life you don't like, you can start making new choices today and create a future you love. You're never stuck because the power is not in the past. It's in the present decision you're making right now. If small choices created the problem, then small choices can create the solution. And when you understand that truth, you stop waiting for big breaks and start building small wins. And those small wins, compounded over time, will create the kind of change that looks like a miracle to everyone else. But you'll know it was nothing more than small choices creating big changes. Have you ever wondered why people start things with so much excitement but quit before they see the results? At the beginning, motivation is high. They're fired up, they're ready, they're saying, this time, I'm gonna do it. But somewhere along the way, the excitement fades, the energy drops, and the goals get abandoned. Why does that happen? Because motivation is a spark. It gets you started, but it can't sustain you. If you want to finish what you start, if you want to build something that lasts, you need more than motivation. You need discipline. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation comes and goes depending on how you feel. Discipline shows up whether you feel like it or not. That's why discipline always beats motivation. If you only move when you're motivated, your life will be inconsistent. But if you build discipline, your actions become predictable, and predictable actions create predictable results. Success loves consistency, and consistency only comes when discipline is in charge, not feelings. Let me give you the hook. Your feelings are not qualified to run your future. If you let your feelings make your decisions, you will quit every time it gets hard. Feelings say, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, I'll do it later. Discipline says, I said I would, so I will. Discipline is not about what you feel, it's about who you're committed to becoming. When you master discipline, you stop asking, do I feel like it? And you start declaring, this is what I do. Think about the difference between the average person and the person who wins at life. Both get tired, both face setbacks, both feel like quitting at times. The difference is the successful person has trained themselves to keep going anyway. They've trained their mind to obey their decisions, not their emotions. Discipline turns promises into habits, and habits turn goals into realities. That's why athletes train when nobody's watching. That's why entrepreneurs work before the money shows up. That's why leaders prepare before the opportunity arrives. Discipline makes you ready for moments that motivation alone could never sustain you through. Here's the reality: motivation is borrowed energy. Discipline is internal power. You might watch a video, listen to a speech, read a book, and get fired up for a moment. That's motivation. But when the video ends, when the speaker stops, when the book is closed, what happens next? Discipline is what carries you when the hype is gone. Motivation gives you a push, but discipline builds your engine. Discipline is what makes you unstoppable because it keeps you moving long after the feeling has faded. And here's the beautiful thing. Discipline is a skill, not a personality trait. That means anyone can build it. You don't have to be born with it. You don't have to be naturally strong-willed. You just have to practice doing what you said you would do until it becomes who you are. Every time you choose action over excuse, you're building discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're building discipline. Every time you show up even when it's uncomfortable, you're building discipline. And eventually, what felt hard will feel natural. What once required effort will become automatic. That's the power of discipline. Let me ask you a serious question. Are you letting your feelings talk you out of your future? because your feelings will always look for comfort, but your destiny requires discomfort. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're called to be. Discipline says, I will sacrifice now so I can celebrate later. Discipline says, I will do today what others won't so I can have tomorrow what others can't. Discipline says, I refuse to quit until the vision in my head becomes the reality in my life. Here's the challenge: stop waiting to feel like it. If you wait for motivation, you'll always be at the mercy of your emotions. Instead, build discipline, because discipline will show up for you when motivation goes missing. And when you master discipline, you won't just start strong, you'll finish strong. Because the prize never goes to the person who starts with the most excitement. It goes to the one who refuses to stop no matter how they feel. And that's why discipline will always beat motivation. Most people misunderstand what it takes to achieve greatness. They think it's about brilliance, luck, or having a sudden breakthrough. They watch someone succeed and assume it happened overnight. But the truth is, success is rarely about what happens in one day. It's about what you do every day. Consistency is the real superpower, and once you understand that everything in your life can change, small, repeated actions done daily over months and years create results that look like miracles from the outside, but on the inside, they're the predictable outcome of consistent effort. Here's the hook: your results are the product of your routine, not your intentions. You may have big dreams, lofty goals, and powerful visions, but if your daily actions don't align with them, nothing will happen. You cannot outthink or outwish your habits. If you want to build a business, a body, a relationship, or a legacy, you must show up consistently. Excellence doesn't show up because you were inspired one day. Excellence shows up because you disciplined yourself to show up every day. Whether you feel like it or not, let's be honest, consistency is uncomfortable. It's easy to give up when results don't show immediately. It's tempting to quit when progress feels slow. Most people fail because they overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. 100 small, deliberate actions repeated daily are more powerful than one giant effort once in a while. That's why the winners in life aren't the people who have flashes of brilliance. They're the ones who refuse to quit, who keep planting seeds every day, trusting that harvest is coming. Here's another truth: consistency compounds. Every day you practice, every day you invest, every day you do the right thing, you're stacking results. It's like putting pennies in a jar. One penny may not seem like much, but after a year, you have a fortune. Your consistent actions are building an invisible momentum. And momentum is what propels ordinary people into extraordinary lives. The secret is not in rare moments of inspiration. The secret is in showing up when it's inconvenient, when it's tedious, when nobody is watching. That's when real progress happens. Think about it. If you read 10 pages of a book every day, you'll finish dozens of books in a year. If you save a little money daily, in a few years, you'll accumulate wealth that feels like it came out of nowhere. If you practice your craft daily, you'll develop a skill that others envy. All of this is because consistency multiplies effort into results over time. One-time effort is flashy, but repeated effort is transformational. Consistency is not sexy in the moment, but it is unstoppable in the long term. Here's the challenge most people miss. Consistency is also about focus. It's not just doing anything every day, it's doing the right things every day. A consistent wrong habit produces consistent failure. A consistent good habit produces consistent success. That's why winners are methodical. They have routine systems and rituals that guarantee their actions align with their vision. They don't wait for inspiration. They rely on structure. And because they show up faithfully, their results eventually become inevitable. Let me ask you, what are you consistent in? Are your daily choices building the life you want or the life you're complaining about? Are you investing in yourself, your relationships, your health, your skills every single day? Or are you hoping that luck will compensate for neglect? The power isn't in the occasional effort. It's in the daily repetition. Consistency transforms average people into extraordinary achievers because it compounds over time, silently working behind the scenes to create outcomes that feel miraculous, but are simply the result of disciplined repetition. If you want to achieve results that last, you must treat your actions like deposits into your future. Show up every day, do the work, trust the process, and refuse to quit. The world celebrates the visible results, but the true power lies in the invisible effort. Consistency is the secret weapon nobody talks about, but it separates the dreamers from the doers. Once you understand this, your mindset shifts, your priorities align, and your life begins to move in ways you never thought possible. Have you ever stopped to think about how much your habits are actually running your life? Most people live as if their future is determined by chance, by opportunity, or by who they know. But the truth is, your future is not hidden in luck or waiting for miracles. It's hidden in your habits. The things you do every day, the patterns you repeat over and over, are silently shaping the life you're going to live. Your habits are like blueprints. They determine the structure of your success or the walls of your limitations. Here's the hook. If you want to predict where someone will be in 5 years, don't look at their resume, don't look at their education, don't look at their dreams. Look at their daily habits. Watch what they choose to do when no one is watching, how they spend their time, and how they manage their energy. That is the real predictor of the future. Habits reveal priorities, priorities reveal values, and values reveal destiny. If you are repeating actions that lead nowhere, you can expect your future to reflect that. If you are intentionally cultivating habits that move you forward, your future is already being built brick by brick. Most people don't realize the power of small, repeated actions. They think only big, dramatic changes can produce results. But consistency in small things is what separates the average from the exceptional. Reading 10 pages a day, saving a little money each week, practicing your craft for 30 minutes, these habits seem minor, almost invisible, but over time they compound into massive results. Habits are the hidden engines behind every major accomplishment. You might not see the effect today, next month, or even next year, but give it a few years and the results will astonish you. Here's a reality check. Your habits are either working for you or against you. Every action has a consequence. Waking up late, procrastinating, indulging in distractions, allowing fear to dictate your choices. These habits quietly erode your potential. On the other hand, habits like reading, learning, exercising, praying, planning, and executing consistently, they quietly strengthen your future. The choice is yours. Every day you either plant seeds for growth or plant weeds that will choke your progress. Let's go deeper. Habits are not just about what you do, they are about who you are becoming. Each habit casts a vote for the person you will be. When you repeat habits of excellence, you are shaping an identity of excellence. When you repeat habits of mediocrity, you are shaping an identity that limits you. That's why change starts not with goals or desires, but with the small, daily practices that define your life. Your future self is a reflection of your current habits, whether you like it or not. Here's another hook. Most people want a new future without changing their habits. They want a different life, a better income, better health, or better relationships, but they continue repeating the same actions they've always repeated. That's why dreams remain dreams. If you don't change your habits, your life will remain a predictable repetition of your past. But the power of habits is that they can be redesigned. You can deliberately choose new actions, new routines, and new disciplines that will shape the life you want to live. Now, think about this. Your habits are like silent architects. They are constantly building the framework of your future, whether you pay attention or not. Every morning, every decision, every action is another brick being laid in the life you will live tomorrow. Success doesn't come from luck, inspiration, or chance. It comes from deliberate, repeated choices. The people who are successful aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They are the ones who consistently cultivate habits that align with their vision. If you want a future that excites you, you must start by examining your habits today. Stop blaming circumstances or waiting for opportunity. Your destiny is not a random event. It is a product of what you do consistently. When you understand that your habits reveal your future, you stop waiting for miracles and start creating them. You stop hoping for change and begin living it. You stop dreaming about a better life and start building it one habit at a time. Most people walk through life as if success is a matter of luck or chance, waiting for the perfect storm, the big break, or the right person to appear. They look at wealthy entrepreneurs, thriving businesses, and accomplished leaders and think they just got lucky. Let me tell you something that most people never hear. Success is never accidental. Success is predictable. It follows a pattern. It obeys laws. It happens according to principles, not coincidences. If you want to create the life you dream about, you have to understand the predictability of success. Here's the hook. Success is like a machine. If you understand how it works and feed it the right inputs, it produces results. If you neglect the inputs, it produces nothing. The successful person doesn't stumble into wealth, recognition, or opportunity. They follow specific, repeatable actions. They know the rules, and they execute them consistently. That's why when you study their lives, you notice patterns, habits, mindset, decisions, and persistence. Everything is intentional. Everything is aligned. Everything compounds over time. There is a method behind their results, and that method is predictable. Most people fail because they ignore the system. They rely on hope, wishing, and luck. They think that talent alone is enough or that opportunity will magically appear. But opportunity rewards preparation, not daydreaming. Talent without discipline produces frustration. Dreams without execution produce disappointment. Predictable success comes to those who understand the mechanics of achievement and align their actions with it. It's not mysterious, it's measurable. Think about it. If a farmer wants a harvest, he doesn't plant seeds randomly. He prepares the soil, sows the seeds, waters them, protects them, and waits for the natural process to occur. If he plants consistently, he will get a harvest. If he neglects the steps, the harvest fails. Life works the same way. Success is the harvest of predictable actions, repeated consistently, guided by knowledge and wisdom. When you understand this, you stop blaming luck and start taking ownership of your results. Here's another hook. Predictable success is not about being extraordinary every day. It's about being faithful in the ordinary. It's not about one massive decision that changes your life. It's about repeated, intelligent choices over time. Small, deliberate actions done daily compound into unstoppable momentum. That's why the rich and successful are not just working hard. They are working smart, aligned with principles that produce results. They know that your daily choices are the true architect of your future. Many people want to shortcut success. They search for hacks, tricks, and gimmicks. But there are no shortcuts to predictable outcomes. You can accelerate, you can optimize, but the foundation must be built on proven, consistent principles. Those who succeed repeatedly are not lucky, they are methodical. They study, they plan, they execute, and they adjust based on feedback. That is why their success is not accidental, it is inevitable. The universe responds to the alignment of action with principle, and those who understand this never leave success to chance. Let me ask you, are your actions intentional or accidental? Are you following a system that produces results, or are you drifting, hoping luck will favor you? The difference between the person who lives a life of purpose and the one who drifts aimlessly is simple. The first understands the predictability of success and applies it daily. They know that every decision, every habit, every effort is a step toward a specific outcome. They don't wait for fortune, they create it. Here's the truth most people overlook. If success were random, anyone could do it and everyone would have it. But it's not random. It is law-based, principle-driven, and predictable. If you apply the laws consistently, you will succeed. If you ignore them, you will fail. The beauty is, once you know the rules, success becomes less about chasing and more about executing. You stop wondering why others win and start copying the principles that guarantee results. You stop hoping for miracles and start producing them with intention. Predictable action always produces predictable results, and that is the secret most people never learn. Have you ever noticed that most people try to change their lives by focusing only on results? Without addressing who they are becoming in the process, they set goals, make plans, and hope for outcomes, but fail to understand the fundamental truth your identity determines your results. Your habits are the bridge between who you are today and who you are becoming tomorrow. Identity flows from habits, and if you want lasting change, you must start by shaping the person you are through the daily choices you make. Here's the hook. Every habit you repeat is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. When you practice discipline, consistency, and focus, you're not just performing actions, you are voting for an identity of excellence. When you procrastinate, indulge in negativity, or give in to convenience, you are voting for an identity of mediocrity. Over time, these votes accumulate and your identity solidifies around the habits you repeat. Your habits are silently sculpting your character, whether you're aware of it or not. Most people try to achieve a transformation by jumping straight to results. They want the money without the discipline, the body without the workout, the respect without the work. That approach always fails because it ignores the law of identity. You cannot consistently produce results that conflict with the person you are. If you want to earn more, you must first become the kind of person who is capable of earning more. If you want better relationships, you must first become the kind of person who attracts and nurtures them. Your habits are the daily decisions that align your behavior with the identity required to achieve your goals. Let me give you a practical example. Look at the most successful people in any field. They aren't extraordinary because of one-time brilliance. They are extraordinary because they embody their success through daily habits. A successful entrepreneur doesn't wait to feel motivated. They work diligently, plan strategically, and manage risks consistently. A healthy person doesn't rely on motivation. They eat well, exercise regularly, and prioritize self-care. Habits are the actions that define who they are, and their identity naturally flows from the choices they make day after day. Here's the reality check. Identity is not inherited, it is earned through repetition. Every action either reinforces the person you are or erodes the person you could become. Small, consistent habits, even those that seem insignificant at the moment, have a compounding effect. They train your mind, condition your behavior, and ultimately determine your character. When you commit to powerful habits, you are not only improving your performance, you are transforming yourself from the inside out. Here's a hook to challenge your thinking. If you want a new life, stop trying to change outcomes first. Focus on becoming the person who naturally produces those outcomes. Identity change precedes result change. Want financial success? Become a disciplined, knowledgeable, and proactive person in your financial habits. Want better health? Become a disciplined, consistent, and resilient person in your wellness habits. Your habits are not just actions. They are the very essence of who you are becoming. Many people struggle because they chase external validation rather than internal transformation. They try to mimic results without adopting the habits that produce them. That's like trying to grow a tree by painting it green. You may make it look right on the surface, but it won't bear fruit. Real transformation comes from aligning your habits with the identity required for the life you desire. When your daily choices reflect the person you aspire to be, results become inevitable, let me ask you. What kind of person do your current habits say you are? Are your habits shaping the identity of a winner, a leader, a disciplined achiever? Or are they shaping an identity of comfort, complacency, and inconsistency? The power is in your hands because every action you repeat today is molding the person you'll become tomorrow. Identity flows from habits, and when you master your habits, you master yourself.